Hello, everyone. My name is Jose Avalos, and I'm the sole developer of Reggie, an adventure level made on the Gears of War engine. And basically, what we're gonna do here is a playthrough slash commentary on the level where I talk about the process of making it. So I hope you enjoy it. So, the story of this level is that you play as a stranded who wakes up one day, after a while out of partying without knowing where he is. So yeah, he was drunk and got somewhere, and now he has to get out of there. But now he has to eat since he's got a case of the munchies. So first design goal of this was make a more um, lighthearted level, since usually Gears is so po-faced, and you can think of this as the tutorial area where you need to take items, you need to combine items, and also you need to use items in the inventory before you're able to progress. So you can see that the first item, that bread was more of a warm light. That's why I did that on purpose, so the player would be drawn straight through it. And though now we're just gonna make a cheese sandwich. This is the combination. That's why I got. Oh, you took those, which are the two closest items to you. Now you need to combine them. And the reason why I did it, item combine cheese, was because of usability issues. And also, this is especially important, the use item from inventory. Basically, it opens your inventory quickly and it allows you to use it. But the reason why I did it as well was because of usability. Testers, at first I wanted to do more of you approach the microwave, you open your inventory, you select the bread, and you use it. But testers just couldn't get it. I saw that over and over again with everyone. And they suggested me, hey, why don't you do it this way? And then, well, I relented to it and I accepted it. I did it, and now the level is much better for it. And this is the this is the introduction to the conversation system. You can see that I chose I am a banana. And the reason why I did it was because in Secret of Monkey Island, for example, you had your straight answer, you had your mean answer, and you have your non sequitur answer. And I wanted to do that as well because it allows you to be perceived in different ways around the world. So you can be either perceived as more of a straight man or as more of a, you could say more of a lunatic. Well, in this case, well, Jermaine is a really troll. But no matter what you say, you're still gonna get your main objective, which in this case is find Reggie, Jermaine's buddy, since you ate all his food in his apartment, and he's not too happy about it. So yeah, this was the introduction to the dialog tree system. Surprisingly enough, I had a lot of problems with it, more than anything because Gears of War uses its own UI scene editor for making everything and not scale form. But the bad thing is that every time you saw that I could choose an answer, I could exit it by pressing escape. And if you press escape at first, I would never get out of a cinematic, so I could just press escape and then lock, and I wouldn't be able to progress any further. I just had to create a variable that say, "Oh, are they talking now?" If you're not talking, then you end up cinematic mode immediately. First checkpoint. Now you have the rest of the map available to you, and okay, yeah, I learned how to do that. Those posters in Photoshop. And now you can actually explore the rest of this floor because that's a mission that Germain gave you. I want to talk a little bit more about the inventory system as well because the way I structured it, it also affected the way I did everything on this level, especially in regards to the level streaming. As I talked before, Gears of War has a UI scene editor, as a stand-in for scale form. But the thing is that it couldn't read any variables from your level, so I couldn't take the approach of just opening up the inventory and in the UI scene itself read a variable from my persistent level and see if, and depending on which ones I've got, enable or disable certain amounts of buttons. So what I had to do instead was, in my persistent level, every time I open the inventory, I have to make a truth table of binary search tree and know exactly, okay, what items you have, and depending on it, open a new UI scene only for that combination of items. You can see exactly how this can get wrong, because if you can hold up to, like, say, 7 items at a time, that would be 2 to the power of 7. That means 128 different UI scenes by itself. Yeah, which would mean that I would get crazy fast, and not just the inventory themselves, but also the use item from inventory. So that means that it's double the work. And so what I did was, instead was I divided the level into 5 different stages, and using items that were mostly used only on that stage, like, for example, the bread or the cookies. In this case, I can only use, for example, the towel in stage 2, which is what I'm doing right now, or stage 3. So that way I could still have lots of items, but, limiting the problem of doing the binary search tree, having it a bit more manageable. Right now is the second stage. And also, as a limitation, I said, okay, you're not going to have more than 3 items at the same time. And again, another way of making life a little bit easier for me. So yeah, that sucked that I can have, a huge inventory system like, every single adventure game does, but I just didn't have the time. Oh my god. Okay, this guy is going to be interesting. Another goal that I had was making, in this case, you have 3 different NPCs and give them, all of them, a distinct personality. So you have, in this case, you had previously had your drunkard, which had lots of pictures of, of women. This one is more of a gun nut, who is also afraid of bugs. And then later you will see more of a mechanic character. And every time you talk to them, the music switches to, like, their own theme, which in this case, even though there are different songs from different soundtracks, in this case, Grim Fandango and the Sam & Max games, it also allowed me to be, give them a little bit more personality, and also be more consistent with the theme, in this case, which was more of a jazzy vibe, as you're listening right now. Again, being more consistent with, lighthearted vibe. Now we have an inventory puzzle, which in this case is trying to get a regular lighter in the fire. Okay, a fireproof lighter, so that's why it's not exploding. You can take it since it is too hot, so you need to take out the fire. Use item from inventory, again, given out by feedback, and now you can actually take the lighter. So if I open the inventory, I see that now I have the lighter. And all these items are just booleans in my persistent level. And okay, here's another reason why I wanted to have, like, a dialogue tree system, even though it was a pain to implement, was so adding a little bit more humor into this. In this case, that's why I cut the music to Psycho, and that's a real bug, believe it or not. I just Googled, like, creepy bugs, and I got that as one of the first results, and I was like, wait, does that even exist? What the hell? And also, as a way of making, a lot of adventure games not only have inventory puzzles, but they also have dialogue puzzles, which means usually manipulating an NPC into doing something. In this case, he's got a bottle of alcohol, and you want it. So now you need to take it away from him somehow. And this is why you need to play into his fear of bugs. That's why the end is nigh. Happiness is a worm gun. And that's why when you entered it, I made that cutscene and say, hey, do you have any bugs? So you could have a little clue on what he was afraid of. So that's why the correct answer is that one. Because alcohol is the main source of bugs in the world. And again, high concentrations of alcohol and I was just having fun around with this. The conversation system on itself is just a series of madness that are overlapped between each other. So you have the one idle where he is in the well, he is standing before you talk to him. There's another in a madness which him with him idle where you are selecting something, and there's another one for the actual conversation itself. So you have Madina on top of Madina on top of Madina. That's how I did the conversation system. And I needed to be especially careful because if the character didn't have the exact same name set on each one of those Madinas after doing one of those, he would just stand there with a T pose. And that obviously sucks. So I just didn't want to break the immersion of this. So, okay, I manipulated this guy into giving me his bottle of alcohol. And now you saw that there was a locked door before. Now we need to open it up. So this is why I allowed this is why I taught players to combine items beforehand, because now you need to combine items. So there are two ways you can open the door. You can either combine those three items that you have in the inventory, the bottle of alcohol, the towel, and the lighter, in order to create, an Molotov bomb on fire, or you can just use the bottle of alcohol on the door first and then use the lighter. So you would only have then the towel. That's what I meant with being able to use it on stages 2 and 3. And now I'm just gonna combine them. So yeah, you have combination on top of combinations, a little bit more of those classic adventure games where you had to combine lots of items at the same time. And now I'm just making fun of Gears with its love for subtlety, which is why a Molotov not only lights a door, but also makes it explode. I know, it's stupid, but it's Gears. I'm sorry if that sounds like a cop-out, but Gears of War is not known for its subtlety. And also, well, later you're gonna... Yeah, Jermaine, good old fella. So yeah, that was the third character, that mechanic. Her name is Christina. So now, the reason why I made the player go back to Jermaine was another way of reporting how that Reggie's not in there. So you could also knew exactly all the time what you needed to be doing. And now you have, you need to use the elevator, and the elevator is broken. So another thing that I was wary of is, okay, since I use all the stage structure, how do I limit it so that players, cannot go to the boiler room immediately, which would be like the fourth stage of the quest. So that's why I hid all the necessary items in Christina's room, which can only be open if you use all the items on stage 2. So that was a way that I could, also, gate the player into his progress and also not getting mad. Yeah, you can see that getting mad, using all the UIs and things that I've said about. Also, this character, Christina, also has room, as you can see, lots of sci-fi stuff, piano, electric guitar, don't panic and carry a towel. And the reason why I had that don't panic and carry a towel is because if you still have your towel, she is like very obviously pissed off at you because you blew up the door, but she's about to panic. So if you still have the towel, you can give it to her, and as a thank you, you can pick up the 2 items that you need to fix the elevator. In case you didn't, as I did, as this case, right now, as this playthrough, you need to distract her. So yeah, I also wanted to have another one of those classic adventure puzzles where there is an NPC who is just blocking your progress and you need to distract them somehow. In this case, yeah, this is more, yeah. In this case, you need to go to the shower, and you need to go to the shower, and since the shower is bad, she gets distracted. She tries to fix it, and then you take up the items while she is distracted. You can see while I go now that the shower is not maybe not be the most convincing looking, and that is because surprisingly, Gears of War doesn't have a shower, or doesn't have a bathtub. I know it's weird, but the only thing that Gears has is a toilet. Surprisingly enough. So I just basically had to block it out on BSP using a model of one of those walking showers. And it was a challenge. I don't know if I was completely successful on making like a good bathroom, but well, I'll let you judge that by yourselves. I'm sorry if the conversations are a little bit long, but unfortunately, since I'm using all this system of madness over madness over madness, you cannot use, a click button or something as a way of skip a dialogue like most adventure games. So, I'm sorry. I mean, I can make Gears of War be something completely different, but I can give it all the functionality that a more dedicated engine can have. This is the BSP shower. So you can see, oh my god, the shower is almost broken. And yeah, that was something else. Since you could basically have those 4 interactions with any item, I also had to make basically sound cues for everything. So the players want to take the piano. Okay, I needed to make a new sound cue, record it, give it with a proper naming convention. And yeah, that was one of the things that I was not prepared for. Just the sheer amount of dialogue that you need to record for making something like this it's just staggering. I've got a newfound respect for adventure game developers for all the sheer amount of dialogue that they need to write. I think there are maybe I don't know, maybe 300 dialogue lines in this one between items and conversations. Yeah, we fixed the elevator. Yay! And you can see that this elevator, also Gears, doesn't have elevators. I had to make all this from BSPs, which I later turned into interp meshes and all those custom meshes. And the boiler room. Oh my god, lots of dead bodies. Yeah, I wanted to have the boiler room more of a aftermath of a catastrophe, because if there's something that Gears does well, is represent, the aftermath of a fight. In this case, a fight between humans and the locusts, with all those flies, the blood, and all that fun stuff. And now you have, the reason why I let the players, I also use a combination between warm lights and cool lights as a way of guiding the player, because players are drawn to that. They love going from a warm light to a cool light, or vice versa. That was a trick from Matt Klopper from Certain Affinity. Great professor. He really helped me with this. And yeah, now you can take you have a little bit more of inventory puzzles in this case, which now you got a bottle of Coke and a bottle of Mentos. And the reason was that since now you go from the warm light to the cool light, you're attracted to it. So okay, I can't get through there. Let's go to the other side. Okay, I'm a little bit proud of this because you know that there are 2 hotspots in the way. Like that hotspot represented by the warm light, and at the end of that, dead guy. But there is an emergence hole where the locusts come from, which is in the way. So you have a puzzle without telling you, oh my god, there is a puzzle right there. And now, also making fun of Gears, you need to basically make a Mantis bomb of Diet Coke and Mentos. So yeah, that was a solution to all the problems in the Gears of War universe. If only they had done that instead of nuclear bombs, light mass bombs, or whatever else they were doing. So yeah, that's poor Morty. He's got the music sheet. That's the end of stage 4. Which in this case is the boiler room. I just wanted to make more of a moodier catastrophe setting. Yeah, Fallout. Also, there were some Baywatch posters before. We're about to finish this level. What else can I say about it? Things that were really difficult to make. Those gates, like those gaps you saw on the walls, those were really difficult to get right for the main reason that since it is like, a third person action game, you can control where the player is looking. So in this case, that would mean that they could be easily looking at the void. So yeah, I spent more hours than I should have just making all this. Just controlling the view, what the player could see at one time. And now this is the final cutscene. Yeah, we're finally done with this level. And now you will finally play Reggie's favorite song. And you know who Reggie finally is. Reggie is a wretch. I'm sorry. It's a terrible, terrible pun. I know. Sue me. So, yeah. I also wanted to say that, okay, maybe the locust and the humans can be a little bit more friends if they shared a little bit more of alcohol, if they drank booze together. I know it's a silly, silly message, but then again, I just wanted to make a silly, silly level, which is why I like all this dialogue that you can also say that there is a communication between Jermaine and Reggie. So, yeah, I know this is really, really silly, but I'm sorry. Well, that was the commentary for this level, and thanks a lot for watching.